So good to see all of you back. Today's interview is a good one. My interview today is with attorney Diego Bustillo. Diego's 16-person firm is growing 64% this year, despite him spending less than 10% of his revenue on marketing and advertising. In this interview, he candidly shares techniques working for him, including an easy and affordable Instagram growth technique, the 3 different ways he and his firm use AI, his most helpful technique for training new hires. He talks about tips for efficient lead screening, niching down in your specialty, mistakes he's made along the way, and perhaps most important, how service trumps outcome. It's a good one. Let's go. Welcome, Diego. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Kara. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so I'm excited to dive in. So to start, Diego, tell us a little bit about your story and why you launched BBA Immigration.
Well, my story is I got to the US about 10 years ago. I got married, came here, did my master's. I'm originally from Venezuela. I worked a little under 5 years at Big Law, what is now the biggest law firm in the world, at the Caracas office. And my partner as well. And we came to the US, we got our master's. And when we graduated, well, I did my master's in energy law. I didn't do immigration.
Hmm.
So I did energy law, and I figured I'd go and follow in my father's footsteps. My father was also a managing partner at big law firm, one of the biggest law firms in the world, the Caracas office. And I always thought that would be my path, and it wasn't, because I graduated from my master's in energy law, and oil went from $100 a barrel to 30. So nobody's hiring energy attorneys. So I started working at this consulting firm that provided support to outside immigration attorneys. So we were like the back office. And in that time, I guess this has a lot to do with my parents, because my parents always said, whatever you do, you go and be the best, right? So I go into this consulting group, and within a week, we're changing, both my partner and I were changing a ton of processes within the firm on how they should approach clients. And in that time, we realized that a lot of these outside attorneys were telling a lot of people that there was simply no way for them to be able to immigrate legally based on their skills. And we'd spend hundreds of hours researching about this particular category called the national interest waiver. And we believed, because of both our energy backgrounds, we thought, well, these people, these attorneys are saying no to, if we build a case in this way, where we take on a lot of the work, a lot of the research, we don't let the client, do a lot of it. We try to take their work off their hands. We think that these cases can be successful. So we carved out a strategy, which is now a workflow and a process that's documented. And the strategy worked. So one of the things that led us to open BBA Immigration when we got our green cards was that we saw a need. We saw that there was a lack of really a customer-centric, service-based centric immigration law firm.
Yeah.
And we're immigrants ourselves, so we know how stressful the process can be, even if you are in the best hands.
Right.
It is a very stressful process, because you're basically, you're a tree and you were planted in a different land, and now you have to take that tree and plant it in a different land.
Sure.
So it's a process. So what we try to do is have that service-based approach to our clients. And one of the things that we thought, and we think still differentiates us a lot from other immigration law firms, is our core value is curiosity. So there have been many consultations throughout the years where, someone will come to us and say, we want to do a green card. We want to get a green card. And we'll say, yes, well, these are the options for the green card, but do you really want a green card? Why do you want it? What is it you want to do? And I've had consultations where by the end of the consultation, they're asking me to get a green card. I'm like, you need a tourist visa. That's
Hmm.
all you need.
Hmm.
Right. So it is really about, and a lot of our clients are in engineering and technology and energy and healthcare sectors. And they've gotten to a point in their lives where when they're migrating, they're not doing it for themselves. They're already pretty successful professionals. They're doing it for their families. They're doing it for the same reason that we came here. We came here because we decided to stay, and we were severely underpaid for many years and working 16 hours a day like many immigrants are, because we saw that as lawyers it was going to be very hard to practice law in a lawless country.
Hmm.
So I guess we did it for our families. We didn't have families back then. I'm a father now, but I now see it in my clients a lot of times. You know, they're traveling all over the world with major Fortune 500 companies because they're employees for these companies, and they're fine, right? But their children will not be fine once they have to retire and have to go back to Nigeria or Venezuela or
Right.
Colombia or wherever it is they're coming. This is still the land of opportunity. So what we try to do is give people the opportunity to realize their ambitions and their full potential by being curious on what it is they want to do and how they want to reach their goals.
And you're taking, just by taking that sort of educational, consulting, client-centric, service-based approach, I can imagine how that would, in and of itself, distinguish the firm from many others out there. What year did you launch the firm, Diego?
So initially, I launched the firm as the law office of Diego Bustillos in 2017.
Okay.
And then Adriana joined a year later in 2018. So we've been in business for 5 years.
Nice. How big is your team now? How many attorneys and support staff?
So we are 16 in total, and we are one, two, three, four attorneys, and the rest is support staff, admins, paralegals, marketing. We've got some outsourced teams as well. Two people in marketing. They're in Portugal right now, and they do all of our like Instagram marketing. We also have this major company in Atlanta, you know of them, who do our social stack, and they do our ads and that sort of thing.
Got it. Got it. At what percentage pace is your firm currently growing?
Right. So we this year we got on the Inc. 5000 for the 5,000 fastest growing private companies in the United States.
Congratulations.
And yeah, that was
Big deal.
we were very happy about that, because you know sometimes you're in the office, you're in the grind, and you're working, and both Adriana and I we're both very much like we want everything and we want it now. And you know that isn't the nature of business, right? Inc. 5000 shows is at 189% growth. That is a 2 year to a 3 year growth, I believe.
Wow.
I just checked before our meeting what our year this year growth has been, and it's at 64%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not bad. We're very
That's
happy about it.
excellent. Tell us a little bit about what's really fueling that growth.
Well, maybe about a year ago, Carol, I had a meeting with an IP attorney who was just leaving a big law firm, and she was asking me all these questions like, "How did you grow?"
Mm-hmm.
And she came to the conclusion from asking me all these questions that the fuel for growth has been reputation.
Hmm.
So it hasn't been one thing that has led to all our growth, but we have invested a lot in becoming better leaders to our team members, and that has helped us grow because it has gotten us out of the grind and being more of a CEO of the law firm. We're still not there yet. We're still very much in the law firm and not working solely on the business. We still very much work in the business, where we're taking the steps to get there. So we've invested in coaching programs. We've invested in marketing. We are constantly researching on topics on how to become better leaders, how to be more effective marketers. And it really is all about the effectiveness, because, it doesn't matter to me if I have 20,000 followers, if those 20,000 followers, none of them is a client.
Sure. Sure.
right?
Sure.
And I was hearing this example the other day where you're talking, this ex person is an attorney, has 400,000 followers, and he has 400,000 followers, or she, and he's doing TikTok dances. Well, is my client, is BBA's client, the type of client who will hire the dancing attorney? No.
Right.
So it's really learning how to be effective in how you market your services. We believe we are very, very different in how we build these cases, and that has been how we fuel growth. And you can read it in our Google reviews, for example. You'll see people talk about, no hidden fees, which is always an issue with immigration law firms. And we try to be very, very transparent in that, like, this is what it's going to cost you. This is it. We can't include this things like newspaper publications for certain processes because it depends on where you live and how much the newspaper will charge in a given month or whatever. But and really having that mantra of service trumps outcome.
Yep. Yep.
But initially our growth, we've grown a lot in the past year from marketing, but the fuel really was establishing a reputation for service
Sure.
and for being knowledgeable. So we're always reading up on what's coming up with what immigration is publishing, what decisions are coming out with, where the pulse is. We're always trying to measure how things are going. And then, of course, when we invested in the coaching program we're members of, I'd say that just collaborating with so many like-minded attorneys and having access to those quarterly workshops and monthly calls with our coach has been really, really important in helping us be more CEO and less lawyer.
So it sounds like you're kind of saying two things from that coaching perspective: the community, the mastermind kind of exchange of knowledge, an attorney who might be across the country or maybe even more local, who has maybe made some of these mistakes and learned from them. Is it that exchange of knowledge that has been so powerful and so helpful for you? Tell us a little bit about the community aspect.
Right. So the community has been a huge part of our growth in the coaching program, because one of the things that, and I've told this way in the past. I remember, like I said, my dad has been a big inspiration as an attorney in my life, and he would have these bi-yearly global partners meetings. They'd go, all the global partners would go to Tokyo and stay there for a week and talk. What's happening at the Caracas office? What's happening at the Dallas, at the Bogota, at the New York office? So they'd get to exchange all this. That is very much what we get to do in the coaching program. We get to exchange ideas and especially ask questions. So everyone is very open in the coaching program. So the way we've found solutions, and I'd say it's like we are part of a global law firm, because you will see two PI attorneys, two immigration attorneys who are competitors, and you will see them you will see us. Everyone is just completely transparent into how can we help each other grow, because when we all are growing, what that means is we are all helping more people. And attorneys get we get a bad rap, but the truth is nobody gets, most people who are at least in that coaching program, they got into the law because we want to solve problems and help people achieve their goals.
Yep.
Or get what's due.
Sure.
Get what's owed to them.
Having that abundance mindset can go a long way, certainly.
It can absolutely. But the community has been huge, and just constantly reaching out to other attorneys and not being afraid to be vulnerable and saying, we're struggling with this. Has this ever happened to you?
Yep.
How did you solve it? What tools did you use? So solutions or problems that we've been thinking for months about how to solve, we'll just raise our hand and say, hey, we got a question. Three attorneys say three different answers, and we're like, well, we like yours. We're gonna go ahead and implement that. Yeah.
Exactly. Why spend months banging your head against the wall or investing or wasting a whole bunch of money when you can have that invaluable resource? So, did you say that you're meeting up quarterly live with this?
Quarterly.
And
Yeah.
is it the same core group or is it a larger? Do you have like smaller?
It's a larger group, and
Yeah.
so the way the program works is 2 days, and there are tiers to the program depending on law firm revenue. And so one is everyone's mixed, and the other one is just your tier. And it's 2 days quarterly, and there'll be different topics. We never know what we're going to be talking about, but it's usually either tools for better hiring or better intake or better c-suite talent, or it's different topics that we're reaching out to. I remember the first time we went to the coaching program, we went back and we fired 14 people. We
Wow.
had 14 outsourced people, and we got rid of all of them except 3
Wow.
who we decided
Wow.
to keep.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Is it a mix of specialties and practice areas?
Everything, Kara. So you'll see, estate planning, PI, family law, divorce, immigration, and different types of immigration, because there's a bunch of different types of immigration. And it's crazy, and one of the things I remember, thinking, wow, this really is the land of opportunity. The US, I mean, is, I'm talking to this attorney, well, what do you do? And he says, I do dog bites. What do you mean you do dog bites? That's all I do.
Hmm.
And someone can make a living being an attorney who solely handles and niches down on dog bites.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's his business. So it is, every practice area, and it has been very enlightening. It's a big investment, but it has been worth it for us, because we put the time in on, we really we realize that as we grow, we still have to provide that same level of service. So that balance sometimes is hard.
Can you give us an idea of the investment needed?
Around 70K.
Okay, a year, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you mentioned monthly coaching calls. Why are those so helpful? And how do you kind of find value in those monthly coaching calls?
Well, I guess they keep you accountable,
Yeah.
right? So in the coaching calls, we'll set certain things that we need to do within the month, and it keeps us both accountable to each other, and it really helps us organize our thoughts. So both Adriana and I we have no trouble coming up with ideas on how to grow the firm and what to do.
Right.
But you can have 100 things written down, but it's how you execute. So what the monthly coaching calls help us with is, how are we going to execute on this idea? And it's helped us a lot, have better defined roles as leaders. So Adriana's a lot more on the operations side. I'm a lot more on the marketing side and the hiring side. So it has helped us a lot.
Yeah, that's great. Diego, drilling down a little bit on the marketing, what are your primary sources of business at this point?
I would say that the most important, and this is studied, the best advertisement, word of mouth, right? Nothing is more effective. I can have a consultation where I am not at the top of my game, but if he's coming referred to by a friend who said Diego and Adriana and BBA, they are the team, they're going to hire us. But we have seen a lot of growth in Instagram. So that has been huge. We never figured it would be that way, just because of the type of immigration law that we practice and the type of clients that we are serving. But it has been really helpful in getting the message out on how we do things at the firm, and on finding the right people to reach out to us. Instagram, last week, a year ago, we'd have one consultation a month from Instagram. Now we have 5, 6, 7 a week.
Wow. 5, 6, 7 a week from Instagram?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think 7 is the most.
Wow.
But at the least, we'll get 3 consultations per week from Instagram.
Wow. Wow. And those are just coming directly through Instagram messages, phone calls, mixture of both?
Yes. So the way we work, and we're working a lot of this because it's gotten to the point where the volume is too large. So we need to automate a lot of things.
Mm.
Meeting vendors every 2 days, and everyone's got a magic pill.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Um, so trying to automate things, but
Yeah.
still keeping that you will have access to your case manager, you will have prompt answers within a certain amount of time. And so a lot of our growth has been, we want to grow, but we want our growth to be sustainable. So
Sure.
we hire proactively. Like we know we're going to need more people in February, so we're not hiring in February. We started hiring a month ago.
Yeah. And that's
Um,
not always easy to, that's easier said than done, right? Kind
yeah,
of anticipating those hiring needs. That can be a little scary for the smaller law firm, but I think that's a really important lesson. Don't wait until you're drowning. Don't wait until you're underwater to then, try and find the help that you need. If you can anticipate that, I think that's an important lesson. Diego, just staying with Instagram for a moment here. What kind of topics and posts seem to be performing best or resonating most on social for you?
okay, so most posts, the ones that where people reach out the most to us are the posts where I'm talking and describing a certain category of visa or describing a case. We've had some success with live Instagrams, and we want to do them weekly now. We have one tomorrow, by the way.
Nice.
But the posts, the videos, of course, are the ones that get the most
Yeah.
messages.
Yeah.
It's very odd. Every 2 weeks, I'll ask my marketing team to tell me which posts have performed best so I can boost them.
Smart.
It's very rare for a post with a caption and something written down to have the engagement that we need.
So like
Whereas when
static
I'm
photo doesn't,
yeah,
yeah, the caption doesn't work. Yeah.
when I'm describing a visa category or a certain strategy or something, that will usually lead to a lot more questions or people reaching out, more messages, more followers. And we realize and it's a balance. Marketing is a balance because sometimes I'll take a consultation that I know we can't take, and I'll give out a free consultation just because I know the person's in a pickle and I need them to hear the hard truths, right? So one of the things we've been trying, we want to start doing is because of the success we've had with Instagram, a lot of people will reach out to us, but they will reach out to us when it is already too late.
Mm. Mm.
So I had this consultation the other day, and this person hired an attorney, and I'm almost certain not an attorney, so unauthorized practice of law there. Very common in the immigration space. People saying, "Oh, I'm an attorney. I'm an attorney in Honduras. I'm not an attorney in the U.S." Very different types of law.
Yeah.
So, she came in 17 days later. They filed something that basically, by filing that, she was admitting fraud in her entry. A year had passed. She couldn't ask for asylum. And, she had a great case for what we do in a national interest waiver. Like, we can get you, we could have gotten you a green card. And we could have gotten you to stay here and work and live. But now the only thing you can do, this is a doctor, like neonatal surgery expert. So desperate, came in, with the kids. Oh, I need to do something to stay. And now the only option she has is she has to go. She has to leave just because she came too late. So one of the things that we want to do with our marketing is, we want to help you, and even if you don't hire us, just make sure that you have all the information. And that is what I think, one of the things that in the beginning care, I think helped us a lot, like grow quickly, was that in the initial consultations, we painted a picture of the entire immigration landscape. Like, okay, you want this type of visa. And I said, okay, that's great. This is what you need for this type of visa. But this is everything available. Are you sure you want this one?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so how are you planning on kind of getting to those clients before it's too late, getting to them earlier, your message and your help reaching them sooner?
I have no idea.
Yeah. That's a hard one, but I
um,
understand. I appreciate where you're coming from on it, right? Is being helpful and providing that advice sooner so that you can help more people. I certainly understand that. Uh,
yeah, I still don't have all the answers, but I do know,
sure,
we need to put out the information
sure.
and be transparent, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I noticed that you have, looks like about 21 active Facebook ads right now. Can you tell us about that effort and how those Facebook ads are performing?
Right. So the Facebook ads, well, we have two marketing teams, right? So the Facebook ads are run by a marketing team in Atlanta.
Okay.
And that really, I would say, is more of a top of mind marketing,
Okay.
right? So that marketing is mainly done so that, we keep, whenever someone thinks immigration, they think about us.
More of
Um,
a branding play, sort of, it sounds like.
yes,
Yeah.
I would say that comparatively, the organic Instagram posts, just boosting them, have been more effective in people reaching out. But then I've started asking, well, when did you first reach out? And it wasn't through that ad. They've been seeing that Facebook ad
There you go.
for some time. And
Yep.
then the algorithm just
Yep.
boosted my post on their feed. So they saw me and said, oh, well, I need to talk to these guys.
Got it.
So the way the marketing works is, you've got the Facebook ads work. You've got a funnel, and whenever someone stays a certain amount of time in a certain post, they will niche down and put like a longer video and a longer video so that they're always engaged with the firm.
Yep. So you mentioned kind of another marketing agency, or you're getting help elsewhere. Are you working with an agency on digital marketing?
Yeah, so our digital marketing, our Facebook ads and our YouTube ads are all run by Crisp out of
I
Atlanta.
got it. Great.
Yeah.
Great. And Google Ads, how are Google Ads performing for you?
Google ads, so YouTube.
Oh yeah, so sorry. Yeah, you said YouTube, only YouTube? Okay, yeah, YouTube ads.
I would say, okay,
Okay.
I think we need to spend a lot more money
Hmm.
on YouTube for
Hmm.
it to be truly effective. The issue, of course, is, do we have the money to spend on YouTube? Yes, we do, but it has a lot. It has, the marketing has to. We can't have more clients than we can handle.
Sure.
And I will not say no to a client that I know is the right fit for the firm. I don't care if I have to work 20 hours. I'll do the case
Sure.
because I want you to reach your goals. But YouTube and Google it's quite competitive,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where, could we spend more money on this? Yes, we could, but then we'd have to have certain things in place, which we are working on,
Sure.
so that we can take in that volume, and just having that difference between a lead and a qualified lead.
Yes.
That is a big one, because there's a lot of misinformation with what we do, and people think, oh, I got a degree, I'm going to go get a green card. It's
Mm.
not that easy.
So putting kind of
Eh,
some of those screens in place so
yeah, so
that you're not inundated with either unqualified leads or just folks that you just really can't help.
yeah, and I've been reading this book recently. I'd recommend to any one of your listeners, Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time.
Nice.
Great book, and we're starting to do a lot of things that he recommends, like
Smart.
just recording videos on what the process will look like, so that they don't reach out to me every time, and I can spend more time doing what I want to do.
Yep, yep. Getting that foundation in place, absolutely. How long have you been running the Facebook and or YouTube ads? Is that a test that's been running for quite some time?
About 2 years now.
Okay, okay. And always kind of tweaking and figuring out what's resonating.
Yeah, we've really tried on the past year, since January is where we've really dug into the Instagram.
Okay, okay. Got it.
So we grew from 1,000 to 20,000 followers in the
Wow.
past 10 months. You know,
Is that,
it's
would you
been,
attribute a lot of that to the boosting the top performing posts?
I would say that, and doing certain events
Mm.
with like former ambassador to the US, you know, and
Oh, wow.
you
Yeah.
go and give a talk with a former ambassador and they see, and you know, we start, oh, this guy's talking with Vecchio. All right,
Mhm.
let's follow them.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's you know, Instagram has been good
That's great.
for
That's great.
us.
Do you have any idea what your cost per lead may be on any of these channels?
Very low.
Okay. Across the board, is that pretty much the case? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I would say it's very low. We need to tweak the how we calculate that value, and we have an Excel sheet now that we're working with our team. Just you know, because our growth has been so fast,
Right.
big.
Right.
There are a lot of things that you know we're still working on
Sure. Sure. Sure.
it,
Almost
and
like catching up with that growth, right? That rapid growth. Yeah.
right. And it's one of those things where you know we've got a fractional CFO, right, and they'll be like, well, yes, you're making money, but are you making a profit? So
Hmm.
what do you mean making money?
Yeah.
Are you making a profit? Well, if you're spending 22 hours a day in the office and your
Yeah.
hour is worth X amount of money,
Right.
then you're losing.
Right. Right.
So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we're constantly working to improve the process and have the data. I'm actually meeting with another colleague this week, and he's got like beautiful dashboards. You know, they track
Yep.
everything, and we've got like just we've gotten a lot better,
Yep. Yep.
and we are always getting better.
Yep.
But you know, it's one of those. I'm very impatient. Like I want the beautiful dashboard perfectly now, and I can't because I need to go through the I need to go through the process, the iterations, what it is we need to measure.
Right.
Because some things are not worth measuring.
Right.
You can
Right.
have 100 things to measure, and it turns out the ones that only really matter are 10.
Exactly. Exactly. Identifying those KPIs, right? Those numbers that matter, especially to you, right? As the owner and the founder, what is it important for you to track and kind of understand the health of the business? Absolutely. About what percentage of revenue are you investing in marketing and advertising overall?
Less than 10%.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's pretty low. And are you working with a marketing agency for SEO? Are you doing any kind of search engine optimization, organic
We
work?
do. We use Mile Mark Media for
Oh,
SEO,
okay. Okay.
and they've been very good, very receptive to emails. Like you know, we'll write and they'll answer uh,
Great.
quickly back. One of the things we're trying to work on with our marketing team in Portugal and the SEO and the Chris people is, you know, we've got 3 different teams and they're doing 3 different things. Well, how can I, in charge of the marketing, how can I make it so that we'll do campaigns? So one of the things we're trying to do now is so that our SEO aligns with our Instagram strategy is I'll write them 3 months in advance. Like, listen, all the blog posts for the next 3 months need to be about these 2 topics. That is it, because
Smart.
that is what we'll be focusing on
Smart.
Instagram and YouTube. And then, you know, next month, okay, well, now we're doing visas for artists, but we don't want to do our, we don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't want to neglect our core practice, but we also do a lot of artist visas. So I want all the posts, at least half, to be about artists and the other half to be about scientists in machine learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That strategy
So
is important. Having that cohesive kind of coordinated approach to marketing, especially when there are several vendors and folks involved, that can be a little tricky. So, yeah.
absolutely, and when you're working, this is the thing. Like you know, like I said, I told like 15 years ago, you would have told me I would have been doing immigration. I would have said you're crazy. And it's very much a case where I believe I was born to do this. Like everything I've done since I was 7 years old has been to be the person in the position that I am right now. And when I thought immigration 10 years ago, what I was thinking of was, you know, what you see in the news. which is, asylum seekers, border crossers,
Mm.
the crimmigration kind of thing. And I knew there was work visas because I had one and I was pointing to one, but how does one get a green card based on your skills? Oh, what do you
Mm.
mean you can get a green card based on your skills? Yeah, of
Mm.
course, if you want a Nobel Prize, you get instant green card.
Mm.
All
Mm.
you need to do is show your Nobel. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of other ways that are very interesting and that require a lot of research, require a lot of creativity, and require a lot of detail. So what I'll do with my clients is, we win cases with the truth.
Mm.
We don't win cases by making shit up.
Mm.
We will win a case with the truth. But if I grab a paper right here, Kara, right? I grab a paper and I take this marker over here and I do this, I'll tell them, okay, well, this is a face, right? And if I do this, that is also a more detailed face, right? But if I spend 10 years studying how to draw with charcoal and paint the Mona Lisa's face, that is also still a face. But you want your case to be the Mona Lisa. You don't want it to be a happy face.
Yeah. Yeah.
That requires time. That requires effort. It requires a lot of curiosity.
I like that. I like it a lot. Are you getting referrals from other lawyers and professionals regularly? What do those referrals look like?
We'd like more though. Can
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can,
Anyone out there? Anyone out there
yeah,
listening?
anyone
Yeah.
out there listening? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we do get referrals from other immigration attorneys
Uh-huh.
who will have, let's say, an asylum seeker and they're doing their asylum case. And they say, well, this person is like a top-notch engineer, has a patent, the asylum will take 9 years.
Mm.
Can you do something for him? And they'll reach out to us and we'll say, yeah, we'll get him, give us 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
And we'll build his case and we'll have it quicker. So a lot of the immigration law space is a lot of asylum, a lot of that sort of thing that we don't do. So we'll get those referrals from them.
Yeah. And you mentioned obviously generating leads and clients through Instagram. Have you been able to make referral source connections through social media? Is that something that you've pursued or thought about?
What do you mean?
Like connecting with other attorneys through Instagram, through social media to grow your referral network.
I have not,
Okay.
but
Yes,
I
yeah.
will give it some. I will give it some thought.
Yeah, we have some past guests who have been quite successful at kind of building that referral network. The idea being first being so active on Instagram to, speak directly to their target audience and their prospective clients. But they've also found sort of this exclusive club of, attorneys who are active on Instagram and kind of, create this little referral source network. So, yeah, I think there's some opportunity there. What does your typical intake process look like? A call comes in, what happens?
Okay, so let's say a call or a message, through Instagram comes in. We have templates that we send out, like, hey, if you're interested in this, you can reach out to this email. Or what usually happens is we receive a call or a message. We ask them to send us with this automated message. We ask them to send us their resume and a short note on what it is they're interested in. Depending on the type of visa that they're interested in, we will either schedule directly consultation. So let's say it's an investor visa. Italian national wants to come in, buy a $200,000 business and be able to work and live intermittently in the United States. I don't need a resume for that. All I need is to explain the process and to explain what the process with us is going to be like. Whereas, most of our business is in this category called national interest waivers, where we need to justify that the person's endeavors in the United States are in the national interest to a greater degree than it is in the national interest to protect the American labor force. So we ask for a resume. So message comes in, we ask for a resume. That resume is uploaded to our shared drive and it's evaluated by one of the partners. And it's a sheet, and it has 3 options. It's either a yes that leads to a direct email consultation where, here is the Calendly link, choose your time, and whatever you pay for the consultation, if you decide to do the process with us, we will waive the consultation fee. We will include it into the total flat fee of the process. The
Otherwise,
other one is
what's the charge for the consultation?
$150. So we lose money on the consultation, but purely from a business standpoint, it is. I read this once, and it's a good way to filter out.
Sure, absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
if you are not willing to pay, let's say $150 to test drive the Rolls Royce,
Right.
you're not going to buy the Rolls Royce, and
Right.
we think we are the Rolls Royce of immigration, at least in our practice, business immigration practice area.
Yep.
Right. So resume comes out, and we can either choose a yes, a maybe, or a no. In the no, we will say, no, you cannot do this category. You want to, but you might be able to if you do certain things that we can talk about in the consultation.
Okay.
Now, our CFO and our coaches and our people have told us not to do that because it's not a good use of our time on the nose. So what I'm going to do in the next month is I'm going to record a video.
Smart.
Right? Just record a video. Listen, we said no, but here are some things you can do to be able to apply in a year.
Yep.
Right? And for the maybes, it's where we get a resume and we think it is, more likely than not to have a case, but we need to ask some questions.
Okay.
Because we see something that doesn't quite add up, or the person wrote something in the message that doesn't align truly with what it is they wanted. So we need to have a consultation to explain what the process is going to be like and what, if any, they could be eligible for.
Sure.
So then the consultation, and then if it's a yes for a fee agreement, one of the partners will write to our support staff, send a fee agreement. That fee agreement has to go out within 12 hours, usually same day. And then, we did this client life cycle, and still we have it, and now I'm reworking it, where, after that initial consultation, in the past, we'd send out a fee agreement, and 2 weeks later, oh, I remember, I had an appointment with Nelson. Hey, Minerva, what happened with Nelson? And it's like, no more. Now we have a list of every consultation that we've had. Have they not answered our fee agreement in 10 days? We send an email. It's called What's Stopping You? Still no signature. 20 days go out, 20 days go by, or 15 days. We send out another email, and then the third email is, hey, should we stop writing? And that, should we stop writing? Sometimes we'll hear back and say, no, yes, I'm interested. I'm just, saving some money, please, don't want to lose my spot. Yeah,
that's highly effective. Yeah, should we stop bugging you? Yeah, that's good. I mean, there's a lot of automation built into the process that you just described. And is the consultation always with an attorney?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And I guess one of the things I asked my friend Josh, he's got an amazing elder law practice out in Georgia. And I really wanted to ask him a question, which I did. I said, what has been the most consequential hire? And he told me, I hired salespeople.
Yeah.
And then you go back to this book, the Dan Martell book, and he says, one of the last things that you can delegate is sales, especially as an attorney.
Yeah.
Right? Because but I'm constantly thinking of ways where maybe, we could have just free consultations with a non-attorney.
Right.
To just explain some of what the information that's already in the video, see what they ask, and then we could have a consultation, so we could spend less time doing those consultations. But I do like to meet my clients. I do like to know, what their aspirations are, because it is very important for us to understand what the client's aspirations in the United States are for the type of law that we do.
I can certainly see kind of both sides of that, definitely. And from an efficiency standpoint, sure, but to your point of being more hands-on and further kind of understanding and getting to know that client, I can see that. I'm curious, Diego, are you using AI in your practice, either for marketing or in any of your daily work?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of my most important, this is gonna sound terrible, but I'm gonna say it. So when I write emails, I tend to be very to the point, right?
Hmm.
Just straight
Correct.
shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because one of my legal writing teachers said, the best way to be polite is to not waste other people's time
Hmm. Hmm. Sure.
reading. And Spanish speakers, you can tell because I talk a lot. We talk a lot and we write a lot. It's like an email. Hello, I hope the morning has been beautiful. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, no. So I'll go chat GPT and say, I wrote this email. Make it more empathetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And now, so we'll use it. Our work involves a lot of research into engineering and scientific things. So we use AI for that, always checking the sources, because you
Yep.
gotta check the sources.
Of course.
But especially for email,
Yeah. Yeah.
it has been great. Maybe to explain some things that are complex legally, just ask one of the AI tools to, dumb it down.
Put it more layman's terms. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. I mean, it can be incredible for efficiency, that's for sure. Can I ask you, what's one of the biggest mistakes you've made or lessons learned in growing your firm?
Ooh, mistakes. We never make mistakes,
No, I'm sure you've never made a mistake.
Karen.
I know that about you. You're perfect.
No, so I would say when we started the law firm and we had this big back office
Hmm.
staff, uh, that was very comfortable
Mm.
because we did not have to, manage the people or
Sure.
train the people. But then, after a year or two, we're like, yes, this is very comfortable, but these are not my people.
Mm.
They do not have the culture that I need them to have at
Right.
my firm.
Yeah.
They don't have the values. They don't answer to me. They don't answer, so that was one big mistake, staying with that outsourced back office without really having like a clear culture
Yeah.
vision firm. Like now we have core values, we have mission statement, vision statement,
Yeah.
we have our KPIs, which was extremely hard to figure out, but we're there.
Mhm.
That was a big mistake. And another big mistake that we made was when we started hiring attorneys and paralegal staff and a lot of things, when they came to us with a product or an email or question, I need you to check this out, we would do all the changes. Like
Ah,
I'd receive a 70-page brief and I just basically redline all of it and rewrite it entirely and send it to them. And it's like, here are the changes I made. Like,
yeah.
you changed everything.
Just rewrote it. Yeah.
Right. So and 6 months pass and I'm frustrated. It's like, oh my God, how do they not know how to do this? Like, well, you never taught them. So
Yeah.
now it's like I'm not changing a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just writing in a comment like, this is not right. You need to change this. This is repetitive. You need to change the wording here. And once they started doing the changes based on just my comments and I stopped doing anything,
Smart.
that and just that 131 solution, like I tell them, hey, I need, this client is asking this question, this is a legal question, I need you to answer it. It's like, yes, this is a legal question and I'm going to answer it, but you are coming to me with 3 solutions,
I
and I
love
will tell you whether one of those 3 solutions works.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's great
because
advice.
it because if you just tell them, they will forget, whereas if they look for it,
And they'll ask you again, and they'll ask you again.
yes,
Right.
yes. So that made a huge difference in the learning curve of every hire that we have at the firm.
That's huge.
It has been just so different from the first attorney that we hired. to the last one that we hired, the learning curve for them.
I
And
bet.
it's not because their aptitudes are different. They're
Right.
both extremely intelligent people. It's just how we did the training.
Yep, yep, yep. Oh, that's really good advice. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So, Diego, before we wrap up, I do always like to ask if a lawyer watching only has time to adopt one, maybe two of your growth tips, what would you recommend?
Oh, I would say that last thing I said.
Mm,
Don't do the work for them.
mm,
Don't do the work for your team members. Hire smart. Take your time in training because the ROI on that time is huge. Whereas if you can't do everything. You can't do everything. If you want to grow, and I see these firms who had great potential in the immigration space. There's this law firm who they represented the the precedent case for the category that we do. They represented that person.
mm.
They should be huge, Kara.
Yeah,
They should be the immigration firm. It's two
right.
attorneys, it's office this size. I'm sure it had a lot to do with hiring, marketing, a lot of things, but I would say, before focusing on the marketing, just have a good hiring funnel. And once you hire, remember that the mission, the vision, the culture isn't something that you just say once. It's something that you need to reinforce. And I know you interviewed Reza from Tort Law,
Mhm.
and he's big on that. He really, he hit me like he said, I hired someone, I, made my sales pitch to my team member,
Mhm.
and I figured, oh, they'll remember. They
Right.
should remember after years. No, this is something that has to be constant. You need to hammer down, committed to excellence, committed to excellence, committed to excellence. This is how we do things. This is how we do things. This is how we do things. Because you want them not to be asking you questions all the time.
Right. Right.
And if you do all the changes for them, if you do their work, that then why are you hiring anyone? Just close the shop and be a solo attorney.
Excellent
So,
advice. Staying consistent. Excellent, excellent advice. Diego, thank you so much for sharing your experience, your time, your wisdom with us. It was a sincere pleasure and a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Kara, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Lots of good stuff from Diego today, right? Here are the primary takeaways I see. Number one, service trumps outcome. As I mentioned at the top of the interview, clients remember being well taken care of, even if they don't receive the result they wanted. Time, effort, and money devoted to top shelf client care delivers one of the highest, if not the highest, marketing ROIs you can get. Number two, build lead screens. Diego's done this really well. Automated screening of prospects can be a major time saver, especially once your lead volume increases. You don't want to be wasting your time there. So Diego screens by charging for consults, but there are many other ways to filter leads. Explanatory videos, form questionnaires, sales reps are all among the most popular techniques. Number three, self-edit with AI. Everyone's writing can be improved, right? Those improvements can be automatically provided by ChatGPT if you know the right prompts, right? Once you kind of know your general shortcomings, maybe your writing is too verbose, you're using kind of too much legalese, lacks the clear roadmap, maybe fails to persuade. Whatever the shortcoming, ask ChatGPT for help. It really works. Number four, teach, don't fix. Diego makes an excellent point about training new hires. Fixing their work may help in the short term, but it doesn't move them along the learning curve in the long run, right? Pointing out shortcomings is more helpful over the long run than correcting those shortcomings. Number five, be aggressive with follow-up. I actually see an opportunity for Diego to increase his sign-up rate. Merely sending a series of emails 10 days after providing a requested retainer agreement, that's too relaxed of an approach, in my opinion. 3 days to signature should be the target, not 10 days, and calls and texts should be used in conjunction with emails. Calling, texting each day until a no, a not now, or a signature is received, it's not too aggressive, and it will really increase your conversion rate. And lastly, number 6, boost your most popular Instagram posts. We've heard this from many of my guests. Once you have a decent sized following, boosting can be an effective client getter. Unlike organic posts, boosting can be targeted by geography, several other key demographics, allowing you to be very, very targeted with who you're serving your content up to, the most relevant, the highest quality audiences. Boosting, it's also pretty extraordinarily affordable, generating tens of thousands of views for $100. You really need to try it. We've had the same positive experience as Diego with our boosting, which we provide to dozens of attorneys who use our social program. We manage, so listen to this. This boosting, it's included in our social media management service. We schedule a monthly remote virtual video shoot with you where we batch record content for the whole month. So we script, shoot, edit, and post 16 to 20 videos for you every month to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as YouTube. We're now shooting more than 200 videos per week for firms around the country. We really know what works. If you could use some social media help, let's chat. I just dropped a link to learn more in the chat. I'd love to talk about your social media, how we might be able to help. That said, I can't wait for our next interview. I'll see you all back here very soon. Thanks for coming. It's been great. Like always, keep marketing. Bye-bye.